What's up, guys? This is going to be the first ever Astro Read for Run and Gun Tarot. We're kicking things off with Aries, and essentially what we're going to do is we're going to move through all of the 12 houses of the zodiac. I guess we can make this for the rest of June and through July. I'm most likely going to post the first 6 houses on YouTube, and then I'm going to post the second half on Patreon to try to get some traffic to there. And then obviously this is going to act as like a commercial for the personal version of this, which I do have available on the website. And if you would like a personal version of this for you, then as always, please feel free to reach out. All my info is in the description below. New website, new summer clothing line, and the Patreon. So again, if you are interested in a direct one-on-one reading, please do reach out. I'm always available. So starting off with the first house, this is the house of Aries. This house speaks to subjective self-awareness, personality, the egoic mask, the identity, the self-image as projected to others, self-expression, and outer expression. So again, this is the first house that we're reading for. We're going to try to move through all 6 houses in this video. And then I see the 6 of Wands wanting to drop out. And then, and then part 2 will cover the last half of the 12 houses. So let's get an idea of what's going on for our Aries in their first house of Aries for the rest of June through July 2020, and timeless if you're watching this a couple weeks, months, and even years from now and just so happen to be in Aries. So let's see what we got. Spirit, highest possible messages for our first house for Aries. We have the 7 of Pentacles. So in regards to your self-awareness, you probably see yourself as, working mightily, putting in the hours. Your identity is very enthralled at this point in time with planting your seeds, growing your crop. And this is essentially your expression for this moment in time. You might be involved with spiritual work. I feel like, this, the fruit that's being bared on this vine is actually something quite special, quite life-bringing. Very supercharged. So whatever it is, it's near and dear to you that you're working on. And you could be working on it for the long haul, because Pentacles could represent years. This is coming from your lifeline. This is coming from your tradition, your heritage, your lineage. And in this lifetime, in this incarnation, you're actually allowing it to spring forth and become a direct expression and representative of who you are and where you come from. So I could definitely see how this is tied in to your ego, your mask, your spirituality, your sense of self, your sense of belonging and contribution. And this is definitely some legacy energy, as you know, the Seven of Pentacles is always on the path to the Ten of Pentacles. And in order to get to that Ten of Pentacles, you have to go through this phase of, you're actually kind of establishing yourself as doing a lot of prideful work. You're very proud, and you believe in this, and you're confident in this because it's springing forth from, you know, the very earth from which you come from. And I think it has a lot to do with your life purpose, actually. The Seven of Pentacles here. So I could definitely see that. Yeah, and you're having a rebirth in regards to this element, because the Death card in reverse wanted to pop out. The Death in reverse is the Phoenix rising from the Ashes card. And you may have lived a previous, you know, life in regards to your career and your spiritual work, and possibly, you know, having to work the 9 to 5 and provide for yourself kept you from this full creative expression that you're going through. What it is that you're best at. And now you're just happening upon this point of rebirth, where you're able to now fully exercise what you've come here to do, your life purpose. And it's funny because it reminds me about the fact that, you know, Jupiter tends to have a lot to do with, this is actually, it happens to be the 9th house, Sagittarius. The search for meaning, higher education, mind expansion, philosophy, religion, journey, travel. The life meaning aspect, intimately tied in with purpose. And I feel that your expression of meaning and purpose has now been able to come out and come through this first house expression of self and identity, because now it's almost as if now that you know your self-purpose and worth and value, and it's like you had to spend however many years to get to that, but now that you know it, you can go ahead and have this rebirth. So you spent all this time to come and find out what your purpose was, and now you're having this rebirth. And now you're having this, it goes hand in hand. It's very beautiful. Let's go on over to the second house. This is the House of Taurus, ruled by Venus. I should touch on the fact that Mars rules Aries, and at this point in time, as this has been recorded, Mars is about to enter into Aries from June 28th to January 2021. So you're going to actually see a rapid growth throughout this time. So look forward to harnessing this energy and letting it, you know, pull you. Mars, the planet of action, in its house sign, its home sign, Aries. So there's going to be a whole new wave of people possibly, you know, coming to this revelation and realization of what their sense of meaning and purpose is in this time, this very volatile time in history. So our second house is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. This is the house of resources, resourcefulness. I should say Venus is the house of beauty, money, love, relationship, things like that. And this Taurian house is the house of resources, resourcefulness, self-esteem, values, valuables, material security, attitude towards possessions. So you might be asking yourself, what's your sense of self-esteem? Where are you at? Let's have some sort of like self-esteem check. And that's what we're here to do. Okay, so these wanted to pop out right across. For the second house, Taurus might be going through some emotional dependency. You could have a lot of your emotion. You care very strongly and you're very passionate about, being able to provide for yourself and your security. This is very tied into your ego identity. Ego isn't necessarily a pejorative, a negative thing. We all have ego. Spirit requires ego to do its work here. The Nine of Cups in reverse could be coming out of indulgence. It could be coming out of emotional dependency, maybe on substance or drink or things like that. And this could be helping you kickstart your soul spiritual expression. You could also be advised to keep on moving in the direction of coming out of any sort of emotional dependency, as they are tied up to your resources, your self-esteem, and your security. I don't really see you as emotionally dependent on, possessions, physical possessions. For what it's worth. I saw the Eight of Cups wanted to flash as I said that, so that could be tied in. There could be some regression as to, your values. You could be, moving further to source, to center, which is just the focus on immediate importances as opposed to, luxuries and things like that. You also have this is the card of representative of moving from Taurus season to Gemini. This is the Knight of Swords. It's hot out the gates with a brilliant idea in regards to how you're going to attain these resources and material security. Excuse me. I don't know if that's confirmation, a sneeze, but it could be. Spirit, is there any more messages in regards to this? I see that you're leveraging this point of time in which you are coming out of this phase of dependency on substance, possibly, or habits, and you're going to leverage it to help you redistribute this focal energy into your life purpose and meaning. And then this is going to complete a feedback loop, which is obviously going to allow you to bring value to your sense of self and self-esteem and how you provide for yourself. And so actually this is a very good kind of self-fulfilling, self-charging mechanism you got going on here. I'm getting like this energetic feedback loop type between the first and the second houses. Moving on to the third house. house of Gemini, you have mindset, thinking, speaking, writing style, learning, interactions with siblings, and communication. So to kind of piggyback off of this hot out the gates Taurian, brilliant idea energy, communicatively, you're feeling very, enthusiastic, and the Page of Wands is about youthful exuberance and, having this ambition and energy and fire start ability, and, they know exactly what direction they're headed with, and they know what they have available to them, and they know what action that they have to take. So, your work might be tied up into communications, and you have a very strong, healthy mindset right now. And if you haven't been already, there's a sense of, learning almost voraciously, and being like hot out the gates with wanting to consume information and knowledge in regards to what you're working on. Again, could be, spiritual practice in regards to your spiritual work here on this planet, or what you do to provide for yourself. The Nine of Wands wanted to pop out, so I see you as, putting down the burden of working harder instead of smarter. And instead of the Nine of Wands, you want this Page of Wands. You want this one useful wand that you could use in your mindset and thinking and speaking and writing and interactions and communication and your learning. And this is all this Gemini, power. You're feeling very exuberant in this house, which is beautiful feeling. It's like a fresh new start to how you're going to employ all these methodologies. And it's coming because you have done the inner work with the Hermit. You've reached far and wide across, whether it means actually traveling or going within to meditate and ruminate and soul seek and soul search. And this is why you're finally able to come out hot from the gates with this Knight of Wands and feel like you have all this knowledge and insight, whether it was, born with or garnered over time and experience, and now you're using this to do what you have to do. Moving on to the 4th house. These cards keep on wanting to pop out. This is the house of Cancer, Cancerian. We're actually in Cancer season as we speak. I believe until the rest of June. Moving on through, I want to say some ways into July. This is the 4th house. The house of number 4 is about stability. I should say that 3 is about creativity, 2 is about duality, and 1 is about like the spark, the initiative, the impetus. But going back to the 4th house, this is stability, this is home, this is private life, this is roots, heritage, family, psychological foundation, subconscious patterns. And it's funny because immediately I have this connection with how you're operating with this 7 of Pentacles that came through first and foremost. I think it's somehow intimately tied. There could have been some sort of like knowledge or deep-seated sense of some sort of passed on family inheritance in regards to knowledge or inner wisdom that now you're exercising. But you may be feeling stuck with the Fool card in reverse, like you're in some sort of holding pattern or waiting period. And that's in regards to your immediacy, where you're immediately at. But again, as far as heritage, I feel like there's that deep sense of knowledge. And it is almost kind of reiterated with the Fool card in reverse, because you're no fool. You come from something very possibly profound, a family or heritage or a lifestyle that maybe toes the line of some sort of spirituality or faith-based or belief or something that's just not surface level. So, with the Hermit card here. But in regards to, your current situation, yeah, you could be waiting out some sort of holding pattern with where you currently reside. You could be private, really, in regards to your personal affairs. Respectful and smart. Psychological foundations and subconscious patterns. So yeah, you could, you might have an underdog complex. I mean, for all intents and purposes, with the Justice card in reverse, you probably feel that, in some way, shape, or form, you don't get enough credit for all that you do. These could be your psychological and subconscious underpinnings. Very interesting that this figure pops out twice almost. With the Two of Swords in reverse and the Justice, it's double blind evaluation. I do get a sense of maybe coming out of heartbreak, coming out of some sort of inherited sense of, injustice or not having a voice here. Not being able to express this deep intuit knowledge, maybe for generations and legacies on end, but now finally in this lifetime being able to give a voice coming out of this. I see this as a Three of Swords in reverse, so you're coming out of this heartbreak or inability to speak for yourself and others in this lifetime. And that's probably why you feel that you don't get your just dues, because maybe you've possibly been inheriting a legacy, a familial legacy of having to really just work your tail off. And now finally you get to speak to that through your soul's expression in this lifetime. That's what I'm kind of getting with this Justice card and Two of Swords in reverse. Let's move over to the 5th house. This is creativity. This is a card of Leo, by the way. I believe the sun is a ruling planet. 5s are about conflict, creative conflict for the ultimate good, for a greater, higher expression for yourself and the collective creative unconscious. 5s are about, this house, this 5th house is about Leo. It's creativity, recreation, procreation, entertainment, pleasures, romance, children, and play. So let's see where you're at in regards to this. Aries. You got the 7 of Cups in reverse. Seven of Cups is, for me, it's automatically about options. I could read this as the cups dumping over, the cups spilling out. You possibly don't see any viable options in regards to romance, anyways. You could have more energy focused on, this sense of purpose and doing your due diligence and your soul's work here, as opposed to recreation and play. Or in the very least, recreation and play and romance is not taking up a large part of your life at this point in time. You might see this as like a smokescreen, like these activities taken away from your life purpose. Yeah, and to kind of tail off that, you kind of probably see that you have this affinity to almost be overly attached to certain elements or aspects of this house. Maybe so as to offset this purpose that you have here. This work that you have to do, this soul's work, and anything that is kind of keeping you from that detracts from making real soul progress here, which seems to be your key. As far as your focus, yeah, I'm just getting the sense that, like, these areas are a little healthy to maintain and, to recreate in and be creative and in your work and through your expression. There could be a sense of, like, there's really no value coming from it, and in fact, it's kind of holding you back. Spirit, highest possible messages, what we could do to help, if required, anything on our part to help better any possible aspects or elements. Yeah, the 9 of Wands again. Maybe put down the burden of, you don't really force romance or play or pleasure or creativity. You could be looking at it as work, really, in some respect. You might be in a period where you feel that, like, 9 of Wands is all about perseverance and feeling like a part of your life is never going to end. So maybe if you're going through a dry spell in regards to romance and, joie de vivre in regards to, like, entertainment and creativity and really just kicking your legs up and kicking back, you could feel that, maybe that you're overworked or overly serious, or in which case you're suggested to, keep faith. This is not always going to be this way, and in fact, make it a point to, take some leisure entertainment time and all that stuff. And in regards to matters of the heart, know that this won't last if you are going through a dry spell. Yeah, your ships will come in, okay, with the 3 of Wands. Spirit, places and energies to focus on as we do wait for our ships to come in. High as possible, please. Let's see. How does this feel? Yeah, I mean, I see the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles wanting to pop through. I kind of just see it as, like, taking a youthful approach of learning and educating yourself, and so as to be able to provide for yourself and others. This is what your focal point should be. Because you're setting in motion something that's going to set you up for the rest of your life, essentially. So it's okay to put, all this lollygagging and slacking. It's okay to put that on pause for now. It probably wasn't really benefiting you in any way, shape, or form anyways. And that facet of life is never going to go anywhere. So no need to worry. And again, this doesn't mean that you can't kick your legs up every once in a while after a long, hard day at work. Let's go into the 6th house. This is Virgo. This is about self-improvement, service, employment, work routines, health and nutrition, and duty. Wow. You got the Ace of Cups in reverse. So I get the sense that maybe you're not finding emotional solace in your sense of duty. Maybe it's not providing the leisure and the romance and the pleasure that you're seeking from your 5th house. But really, it is a sense of duty, and it is a sense of understanding that you're coming from this first house work that you need to do. So, Spirit, what of it? I mean, Spirit's like, I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, you got that 10 of Cups hitter, boy. Deesh, double confirmation with the truck honks in the background. You're feeling this way because something really great is coming for you. Something really great is coming for you. You have to dump out this 1 cup for a little bit in order to get your 10 cups later. Wow. That's very beautiful. For that to come like that. Any more messages, Spirit, on how we could segue this in regards to self-improvement, service, employment, work routines, health, nutrition, and duty? Again, this is 6. 6 is all about moving on to better, inspirational, emotional, communicative, manifested, aspects of life, It's always about moving on to, pleasure, I guess, for lack of a better word. From strife and conflict, essentially, from the 5 before it. So maybe not pleasure, but like harmony or balance, or 6 is a number of balance, the perfect number, I believe is what they call it. But yeah, let's see what we got. Yeah, there's just more enthusiasm, more creative, youthful exuberance and beginnings to build off of that Page of Wands. This is definitely new beginnings, and as far as that Kickstarter wand energy, and you're going to be coming back for more with this reiteration of the Page of Cups energy. Very interesting. Because in the tarot, we have this progression from fire to water to air to earth. So, to see that in 2 of those elements, that there's just brand new creative beginnings, has me, believe that enthusiasm is going to carry on to the communicative air elements, logic, reason, thinking. And then ultimately your manifestation. Spirit, last messages for Virgo, and just recapping this whole 1 through 6th house. This was a very helpful and productive reading, actually, I feel. Yeah, with the rebirth energy, with the Death card in reverse,